Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll review the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It is a transformative spiritual guide that emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment. The book is structured into 10 chapters, each addressing the different aspects of mindfulness, spiritual awakening, and the pitfalls of identifying with the mind. Introduction: The origin of the power of now. Tolle begins by recounting his profound personal experience of spiritual awakening, which transformed his life and led to the insights presented in the book. He describes his own battle with the depression and inner turmoil, which culminated in a moment of complete surrender and the realization that his suffering was tied to his over identification with the mind. This section sets the tone for the book, framing it as a guide to help others transcend their mental and emotional suffering. Tolle emphasizes that teachings are experiential, urging readers to practice and internalize the concepts rather than merely intellectualizing them. Chapter 1: You Are Not Your Mind. In the first chapter, Tolle introduces the central premise of the book: the mind is a tool, but it should not dominate our sense of self. He explained that most people are trapped in compulsive thinking, which creates an illusory sense of identity. This egoic mind thrives on fear, desires, and mental projections, keeping individuals disconnected from the present moment. Tolle introduces the concept of watching the thinker, a practice where one observes their thoughts without becoming entangled in them. This practice begins to create a gap between the thinker, the mind, and the observer through consciousness. Chapter 2: Consciousness, the Way Out of Pain. This chapter explores the relationship between pain and the mind. Tolle introduces the concept of the pain body, an accumulation of past emotional pain that becomes a semi autonomous entity within individuals. The pain body feeds on negative emotions and perpetuates cycles of suffering. Tolle explains that living in the present moment dissolves the pain body because it thrives on identification with past hurts or anxieties about the future. Awareness and presence are the antidotes to the unconscious cycle. Chapter 3: Moving Deeply into the Now. Here, Tolle delves deeper into practice of living in the present moment. He explains that time is a mental construct and our attachment to past and future creates psychological time, which is the root of much suffering. Tolle offers the practical techniques for staying present, such as focusing on the breath and observing sensations in the body. He emphasizes that now is the only point of access to true life, and that the mind's resistance to the now is the primary barrier to the enlightenment. Chapter 4: Mind Strategies for Avoiding the Now. This chapter explores how the mind resists the present moment through various strategies such as worry, regret, or incessant mental chatter. Tolle explains that the ego thrives on dissatisfaction and uses distraction to keep individuals from connecting with the present. He introduces the practice of surrender, which involves fully accepting the present moment as it is. The resistance creates suffering, while acceptance brings peace. Chapter 5: The State of Presence. Tolle describes presence as a state of heightened awareness that transcends thought. In this state, one feels a deep sense of peace and connection with life. Presence is not something to be achieved, but realized by letting go of mental attachments. The chapter also discusses the spiritual dimension of presence, where one experiences a connection to a greater intelligence or universal consciousness. Chapter 6: The Inner Body. In this chapter, Tolle introduces the concept of the inner body, a field of energy that underlies the physical body. He explains that focusing on the inner body helps anchor you in the present moment and connect with the deeper sense of self. This practice also has physical benefits as it reduces stress and enhances vitality. Tolle emphasizes that awareness of the inner body is a doorway to spiritual awakening. Chapter 7, Portals into the Unmanifested. Tolle discusses the unmanifested, which he describes as the source of all life and the formless dimension of being. He explains that presence opens the door to the unmanifested, allowing one to experience peace beyond understanding. Practice such as surrender, silence, and stillness are described as portals to this deeper dimension. Chapter 8, Enlightened Relationships. This chapter applies the principle of presence to relationships. Tolle explains that most relationships are rooted in egoic patterns such as dependency, possessiveness, or the need of validation. These patterns create conflict and suffering. An enlightened relationship arises when both individuals are rooted in presence, allowing love and connection to flow without egoic interference. Chapter 9, Beyond Happiness and Unhappiness, there is a peace. Tolle challenges the conventional idea of happiness, arguing that it is transient and dependent on external circumstances. He introduces the concept of inner peace, which arises from surrender and presence. True peace is not the absence of challenges, but the ability to remain rooted in the now, regardless of external conditions. Chapter 10, The Meaning of Surrender. The final chapter elaborates on the practice of surrender, which Tolle defines as a complete acceptance of the present moment. The surrender does not mean giving up, but aligning with the reality rather than resisting it. Tolle explains that surrender is the key, accessing the power of the now and living the life of peace and purpose. Conclusion. The power of now is a profound exploration of mindfulness, spirituality, and a human condition. Its teachings are deeply practical, offering a pathway to transcend suffering and live a life of presence and peace. Each chapter builds on the last, providing readers with a comprehensive guide to spiritual awakening. By practicing the principles in this book, readers can cultivate a deeper connection to themselves, others, and the present moment. So, guys, if you liked the review, do like and share. And also, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, do subscribe the channel. If you want any specific book review, do let me know in the comments. Until then, see you in the next video.